Is what should we do? What should be done? Okay, the first thing is we must have reforms of all the governance institutions, the producer organizations, the ISA, the UNCLOS itself, all the institutional mechanisms. Many of the reforms I suggest in that chapter 10 are eminently feasible if we demand them and press our politicians. They're not revolutionary reforms, but they would have a huge impact. Reform our quota system. If you're caught breaking the law, you lose your quota, full stop, next morning. Okay? Simple things like that. So there are lots of little things. But the final chapter gets back to my lifetime work, if you like, which is to say, look, we should be building a blue commons capital fund. And how you would do it is you would look to Norway, how they treated their oil revenue and the royalties. They preserved their commons, whereas Britain sold the rights in the North Sea, took windfall gains, gave it out in tax cuts to the wealthy, but in the end, we got nothing. Whereas the Norwegians said, we will keep ownership of our oil and we put it into a fund and build the fund up, and as the fund builds up, we will distribute the benefits for the benefit of society. We should do that with all the things that are taking profits from our commons. If you're making huge profits from aquaculture, or you're doing from a fishing quota, or you're doing it from a mining, or whatever it might be, you owe compensation to the commoners. And therefore we should have levies, an eco-fiscal policy, which I think would get a lot of public support. You know, if you're making a profit by taking the sea sand, A, we should have stronger regulations, but B, if it's allowed, that you shouldn't be taking all the profit. If a company like Maui, the biggest salmon fishing company in the world, is only paying 50% of the production costs and making billions, well, the wealthiest man in Britain is the owner of that company. He's worth 12 billion pounds. He sits in London. John Fredrickson is his name, not a very nice man, but he's making a lot. If they are making, I say we should have an aquaculture levy. Okay, they should make 10% profit if we allow it and if it's regulated properly and all the other things, but the 40% should go in a levy. And after the book was finished, the Norwegians, with no credit to this, introduced a 40% levy in their salmon fishing, right? Immediately, big finance, big corporations said, no way, we'll leave Norway. I was telling my Norwegian friends, call their bluff. Well, they've just agreed compromise, so there's now a 25% tax. They've all accepted it. It's just happened this week. Now, we can do many of these things. We need a carbon levy. Don't pretend we don't need a carbon levy. We'll never get it. It's the wrong way round to give subsidies for people with their energy. That's encouraging more people to spend more energy. We should do the other. But the trouble with the carbon levy is it's regressive by itself. In other words, a poorer person is paying proportionately more. The only way to make it progressive is to put the money in a fund, build the fund up, and distribute the benefits, recycle the benefits, is common dividends. Now that's a property right, so the right will have difficulty opposing it, but I call it something else. I call it basic income. Thank you.